Hey guys, Philip from PR Gaelic Goalkeeping Academy. I'm back again today with another goalkeeping training session breakdown. Today I'm going to go through an introduction into goalkeeping for first time keepers and beginners. I love coaching young and new keepers the right techniques and habits that will make them into great keepers. Coaches, please make sure you're watching your goalies during these sessions and ensure you're correcting anything they're doing wrong. Doing this now will stop them from forming bad habits that they'll need to fix throughout their goalkeeping career. The main focus on this session was introducing the new keeper to basic footwork, handling and of course diving. Throughout the session you'll see a progression of each technique in the drills. This is important for new keepers as they can start from the bottom and see themselves improving and adding to their techniques. You'll see a big example of this when we're going through diving with this keeper. Just like in the last video, there will be an animated layout and example of each drill before the real life demonstration. The link to the Tactical Pad app will be in the description should you want to lay out your drills online. This training session involves 2 warm-ups and 3 progressive technique drills. As always in my training sessions, we started with a mobility stretch and a resistance band warm-up. For a breakdown on this resistance band warm-up, check out the video we have on our channel. After that we have a more traditional goalkeeping warm-up. Like I said in the last video, this style is one of my favourites. The keepers get to work on footwork based movements and basic saves. All you need is 6 cones and a ball. I prefer to use poles with newer goalkeepers as it helps them visualise and get used to being in a goal. Set up the drill as shown in the overhead. 4 cones in a line, close enough to get your foot through. Then set up 2 cones or poles as go. This is where the goalkeeper will work on basic saves. Don't worry too much about second balls with our newer keepers at this stage, as we want them to concentrate on the technique and not to worry about anything after that. Of course, bring this into any session when there's improvement in the keeper. The first part warm-up will have the goalkeeper moving side to side in between the cones, and then step into the goal and have to collect either a thrown or kicked ball depending on the keeper's ability between their head and chest. As this may be the keeper's first time doing any training like this, make sure to introduce them into the goalkeeper set or ready position, where they have their feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, weight on the balls of their feet, and their hands between their chest and belly button, so they're halfway to any low or high shot that comes in. Also, should they not notice already, show them the W and basket technique for when catching a ball. Other things to concentrate on when coaching this drill: make sure the keeper does not cross their feet when going in between the cones, their eyes are up looking at the server the whole time, and that you give them enough time to get into their set position when they get into the mini goal. The server should be around 14 yards away. Remember, this is only a warm up, so try keep the deliveries firm but not too hard when you're kicking it. I usually do about 2 sets of 8, but this can always be changed based on the goalkeeper's ability. The next step to this warm-up is a change of footwork and service. The goalkeeper will now face either left or right and move sideways, putting 2 feet in between the cones. They will then set out into the goal and the server will aim to pass the ball in between the goalkeeper's legs. Make sure your goalkeeper is using the K barrier technique. This is where they have one knee bent in behind their hands. Should the ball get through their hands, then you'll be there to block it. This technique is especially good for wet days when the ball is really slippy. Make sure the keepers are changing which knee they are bending so that they get a balanced technique. Again, I do 2 sets of 8 depending on the goalkeeper's level.
Great stuff, super hot.
Our first drill is designed to teach our new keeper how to dive. There are 3 stages to this drill which go through the main steps of diving: the pendulum technique, how and where to land, hand placement, catching technique, as well as the footwork needed to make the save. Set up the drill like the overhead with 1 cone a yard or so behind a small goal marked by cones or poles. The reason the starting cone is slightly behind is to promote our keepers to dive forwards. The first part of the drill doesn't need the cones, but they'll be needed in the next 2 parts. With the keeper starting on their back and the server standing a yard away, they will drop the ball either side of the keeper. The keeper will fall left and right, catching the ball. Make sure the keeper lands on their side and not on their elbow. Landing on your elbow will make you drop the ball, and in a match it will lead to goals. As well as that, the keeper must make sure to use the pendulum technique. As you can see in the demo, the keeper will have the leg that's not on the ground up in the air, i.e. if you're diving right, the left leg will be up. When trying to get up, they'll force the leg down towards the ground. This momentum will help the keeper get up quickly. I'd recommend you ask the keeper to try the drill without the technique first of all, to show them how helpful it is. I'd recommend 2 or 3 sets of 5 on each side, depending on the keeper's ability, because this drill is an ab burner. Part 2 of this drill will have the keeper on the starting cone on their knees. The server will be about 5 or 10 yards away with the ball on the floor. They will play the ball towards the right and left cone. With the keeper on their knees, they will dive side to side. Coaches, make sure they're using the pendulum technique and that they're not landing on their elbows. On progression of technique with this drill, make sure the keepers are diving forward, trying to aim at least in line with the side cones, if not in front. As well as this, they should try to catch the ball with one hand on top of the ball and one hand behind it. This gives the keeper the most control of the ball, and make sure if they do not catch it, that they get a good contact to parry it. The third piece of this drill is yet again a progression of technique with the keeper standing from the start. The drill is exactly the same as part 2, but the server will be between 10 or 12 yards away this time. The server will play the ball left and right, aiming at the cones. The keeper will then dive from a standing position and make the save. While using everything they've learned so far, ensure the keeper is now making a 45-degree step first to set themselves into the save. This step is known as the driving step and is where the push for the dive comes from. Coaches should be aware that this may be an information overload for younger keepers, so make sure you are very clear with each instruction and give yourself some time to explain the drill. I'd recommend 2 sets of 5 on each side for parts 2 and 3. Drill 2 is a drill that brings all they've been working on together. The handling we worked on in the warm-up and the diving that we've done in drill 1. Set up the drill as shown in the overhead with a starting cone in the middle of the goal with server 1 at an angle 8 yards away and server 2 in front of the goal 14 yards away. The keeper will face server 1 and collect the ball aimed between their head and chest with a W catch. They will then quickly adjust their position and face server 2, who will play a ball towards the corner of the goal. The keeper will dive and make the save, ensuring that they're using all the techniques that they've learned earlier. Coaches, you should make sure the keepers are landing on their side and they don't have T-Rex arms by landing on their elbows. Landing on their side improves handling but also allows the keeper to stretch further with their arm towards the ball. I'd recommend 2 sets of 6 or 8 reps and then change sides.
Ready? I'll do it.
Now, the last drill of this breakdown brings everything we've worked on so far together, unless the keeper starts to think about what and why they're doing certain saves and movements. These drills are very important for new keepers because in training is where you want your new keepers to make the wrong decisions and not in a game. Without goalkeeper training, as coaches we can't really expect our goalkeepers to perform at any level. So, set up the drill as seen in the overhead, with a starting cone in the middle of the goal, 2 poles in line with the post 8 yards away from the goal. Server 1 will be on an angle to the side of the goal 10 yards away. Note the blue cone on the overhead and the 3D animation. This cone is here to simulate the other post when the keeper steps into position and is set for the ball from server 1. This really helps our new keepers see where they are in positioning, and we use it as a tool even for experienced keepers. Server 2 will be between the 14 and the 21. You will see the poles in line with the posts again. This is a tool to help the keeper see where they are setting up for the shot from server 2. This drill will start with the keeper on the starting cone. On the call, they will move into the angle facing server 1. Server 1 will aim a high ball just behind the goalkeeper, who will have to adjust their feet, move back and catch the ball. They will then get back into the middle of the goal using the poles as a guide to get into the best position. Server 2 will then hit the ball in and around the goalkeeper, making them combine the K barrier save, the W and basket catches and the dives that we were working on earlier. Servers should dictate the pace and placement of the shots based on the keeper's ability, and I would recommend 2 sets of 6, then server 1 will change sides and do another 2 sets. So that's it for this goalkeeper training breakdown. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe to stay up to date with our uploads. Should you have any questions, leave a comment on this video or feel free to email us. Our email is on screen now and I'll leave it in the description below. We will also be launching our website very soon, and we'll be offering tailor-made packages to clubs as well as private bookings for one-on-ones and group sessions should you want PR Gaelic Goalkeeping Academy to come out and do a session with you. We also have some great products coming down the line, so stay tuned. I hope you have a great day and happy goalkeeping.